Welcome back to the Tavern, World Builders. Today, in the very last episode of Season 3, oh my goodness, I cannot believe it's been a whole season already, we are talking about the very appropriately named apocalyptic sci-fi show, The Last of Us. This is based on a video game of the same name. We will primarily be focusing on The Last of Us, both Seasons 1 and 2, but there may be spoilers for the video game as well, so consider yourself warned. With that, grab an ale, zero proof always available, and pull up a chair. I'm Emma, your friendly barkeep, along with Allison.
Hello.
And Christiana.
Hi.
And we are so happy to have you here one last time this season. Cheers!
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 So, Season 2 of The Last of Us has just come out, so we watched it, and we did also watch Season 1, of course. So here is a little recap for any of you who may not be as familiar with this franchise. In a world overrun by fungal zombies, hardened smuggler Joel is tasked with escorting Ellie, a teenage girl immune to the infection, across the US. Their journey is filled with danger, loss, and growing trust. Along the way, they face infected monsters, violent survivors, and emotional trauma. By the end of the first season, Joel discovers the cure requires Ellie's death and chooses to save her, lying to her about it afterwards. In Season 2, Ellie and Joel have gone to Wyoming to a colony where Joel's brother lives. Ellie is angry at Joel for reasons that don't become apparent until later in the season. Meanwhile, a woman named Abby, daughter of a doctor that Joel killed in Utah while saving Ellie, and her friends try to hunt down Joel in Jackson. Abby gets attacked by zombies and is saved by Joel and his brother Tommy. Abby then leads the two men back to her friend's camp, where they restrain Joel, and Abby brutally murders him, and it's a really horrifying scene. It's awful! Ellie arrives just in time to see Joel die. Despite the iciness that has grown between the two for the past few years, Ellie tries to save her surrogate father, but is overpowered by Abby's friends. Abby decides to spare the lives of Ellie and Tommy. Tommy, convinced that Ellie is going to try to avenge Joel, leaves Jackson to try and hunt her down himself, thus perhaps preventing Ellie from following in his footsteps. Ellie inevitably follows him. She and her new girlfriend Dina set out to bring Tommy back, though of course Ellie always plans to confront Abby herself anyway. Racked by guilt about her distance from Joel in his final years, and furious that her only parent figure was taken from her, Ellie soon gets wrapped up in the mission to avenge Joel as well. Ellie and Dina's hunt leads them to Seattle, where Abby and her friends have allied themselves with yet another rebel group, who are called the Washington Liberation Front, WLF, who are also known as the Wolves, led by a man named Isaac. Despite its lofty goals, since taking over Seattle, the WLF has become an oppressive regime itself, fighting against what the group considers to be a radical death cult called the Seraphites. The Seraphites employ guerrilla tactics to kill WLF soldiers, and the soldiers in turn interrogate, torture, and kill Seraphites. Ellie infiltrates the WLF, killing many of Abby's friends, and the season ends with a cliffhanger of Abby pointing a gun at Ellie and the screen cutting to black. Dun, dun, dun. So, starting off with Happy Hour. How did we all like the show? We've watched Season 2 recently. Season 1 was a while back. It's one of those shows where there's a few years between seasons.
I loved Season 1.
Perfect
and
show.
I hated Season 2.
Agree entirely. Maybe hate is a strong term. I was discussing this with my husband after we finished it, where I was like, if Season 2 was the first season, I'd be like, that's a good show. But Season 1 is like exceptional, like num perfect TV, just phenomenal storytelling and world building, and the I think it's episode 4 with Frank. Like,
I love Frank.
Yeah, with the gay couple is lovely.
Like, Adam and I were sobbing and holding on to each other. Like, I don't think I've ever cried so hard to a piece of media before. And then to follow that up with like a very mediocre season, it feels like extra bad in comparison, I think.
For me, it wouldn't have mattered if I'd seen Season 2.
Oh, really?
In a vacuum, I wouldn't have liked it.
Yeah.
I find it really hard getting behind a revenge story. Like the arc of Season 1, which was all about saving the world, was like, yeah, I'm into this. And then like Joel choosing Ellie over the world is just such
very
a
compelling
story.
Yeah.
And then this one to be about, well, this guy killed my dad, so I'm gonna kill him. And then Ellie being like, well, now you killed my basically dad, so I'm gonna kill you. I just couldn't get
the stakes kind of dropped off. Like the season's first stakes were like save the world, and then the second stakes were like this one person. Like the stakes. Yeah, I don't know that I felt as strongly about either season. Like I liked season 1 and I disliked season 2.
Okay.
Is kind of like where I am. So it's like same emotions as Allie, but like less on the intensity scale. But yeah, like, and I think one of the reasons for that is it did kind of feel like a tone shift. Like the first one felt very much like a zombie series, and the second one kind of felt like the zombies were almost trivial. Like it could have been any war, any post-apocalyptic thing, and the zombies. So I'm like, they kind of lost what made the show special, because like, well, this could be any,
because the zombies are so cool and gross
so
and
weird.
disgusting in the best way.
Is incredible. Yes,
and the visuals of like in season 1 when she goes to kiss Joel and like the stuff comes out of her mouth. I have a big fear of fungus. And like
mushroom fungus.
I had to watch a lot of season 1 like between my fingers, and like because I love horror, but fungus like triggers me. I guess I don't know. It just sets me off. But season 2, I didn't have to do that at all.
There was like one mushroomy scene in season 2, which was objectively cool. It was like a bunch of mushrooms had like overgrown something. You saw like the spores floating through the air, and it was very.
But then the people stuck in the wall.
Something else.
All I can think of is the movie Annihilation did it better.
Oh,
because they have a scene where someone's like, you know, like nature, like nature taking people over. I'm like, that movie, even though it's not as good as the book, that movie did it better than
or Pirates of the Caribbean, kind of the second one where his dad comes out out of the barnacles. I feel like is also a better version.
Also, my favorite thing about season 1 is the relationship between Joel and Ellie. That's my favorite thing. I love it. And in this one, I mean, you get a little bit. There was one episode that was a flashback. That's all flashbacks. And I was like, well, that's my favorite episode.
Best episode,
I love Pedro Pascal. And so he dies in the first...
I had no idea he was gonna die. I have not played the game, so like that for me was a complete shock.
For those of you who haven't seen it, he dies in the first episode, in the second episode, very early.
Episode.
And I'm like, well, that's why I loved the show. Like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Like, I had to force myself to keep watching.
I think part of that is in the game. I feel like Ellie's relationship with Dina and the community, like she takes on the role of Joel to some extent. Like she loses her caregiver and then becomes a caregiver for other people. And I feel like I didn't get that from the show. It would have been different.
So I looked this up after because I hadn't played the game, but apparently you play the game as Ellie and as Abby. And I was like, I did not get that at all from this season. I didn't realize we were supposed to be like...
because Abby does not feel like a protagonist. Like
I'm kind of guessing maybe the third season will be more from her.
That's what people have been speculating. And on paper, that's all very interesting. And like I could see why in the games that works. But I think the way that they tried to do it in the show just doesn't work.
And then deciding to split the game because the show ends at the halfway mark of the game. So they're splitting the second game into 2 seasons. Just felt like another like The Hobbit decision to me.
Yes.
I agree. Especially because you know it's going to be like it's going to be 2 or 3 years till the next season comes out. So it's like, oh my goodness, like, which I hate about modern TV like so passionately.
I hate a cut to black cliffhanger. Like season 1 ends on a cliffhanger to some extent. Like Joel saves Ellie, but then you just see them standing and kind of looking over to the town.
Not really,
And so like that kind of cliffhanger is a good ending where it's like, do they make it to the town? Do they not make it to the town? Like if you haven't played the game, I don't know, maybe they go to the town and it's overrun by infected and they're on the road again, right? Like it's not like a clear, perfect, like, and then we bought a house and everyone's happy kind of thing. But I'm really struggling to think of a single show that ends on a cliffhanger that intense that I like.
If it had been the middle of the season, I would have been okay with that. Like,
or before, like back in the day when we had actual long seasons that span over the year. If that was like you know how you used to have like the winter break, like you'd have the episode and then you'd go on hiatus for like 4 weeks in December. That would have been perfect. She's like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? But now it's like, I can't care about it this at all because I can't.
I'm not going to hold it in my mind.
Cannot be emotionally invested for 2 years. So
I mean, I'm probably not even going to watch season 3 to be honest because I didn't like season 2.
I think I will, but it's going to be one of the honestly like background shows. Like
Yeah.
There's some shows where I'm like,
Yeah.
it's good enough for me to have on the background while I'm like cleaning the apartment or like doing crafts or like it's just something on
but
there.
I'm not like
but it's glued to it.
super.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
kind of
quite
a bummer. I was
disappointed.
expecting it to be
Yeah.
really good. So
Yeah. Well, now that we've expressed all of our disappointment, let's talk about the world building and head on over to Tavern Talk. We're discussing this as a post-apocalyptic genre, and then also specifically zombies. So it's kind of two. It's like a sub genre of post-apocalyptic.
I mean, there are often zombies
Yeah.
in post-apocalyptic, but not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
As kind of an aside, zombies kind of have to be post-apocalyptic. I'm trying to think of a single zombie.
Yeah, it's kind of like
media.
all zombie movies are post-apocalyptic,
Yeah,
but
but
not
not
all
all
post-apocalyptic.
post-apocalyptic.
Because you can't really have. Yeah, you can't
Well,
really
this
have
feels
a
like
zombie.
a challenge. Now I have
Yeah.
to think
Now I gotta
of
think of a zombie one. The whole point of zombies is that they like take over everything. So it's like you
Yeah.
can't just have one zombie, right? Like that's not.
As soon as you say can't, Emma, someone's gonna
Yeah.
do it.
Shaun of the Dead, maybe, because it's the beginning of a zombie outbreak, so it's not post-apocalyptic yet. It's like in the destructive phase. So like if you do the beginning of a zombie outbreak, it's not the apocalypse is happening. So you're in it's apocalyptic, not post-apocalyptic.
I've never seen the show, but I think iZombie
Oh, I love
is
iZombie.
maybe not
I've never seen it.
post-apocalyptic. I'm assuming it involves zombies.
So it starts not apocalyptic, but then it kind of goes there.
Isn't
From what I
Santa Clarita
remember.
Santa Clarita Diet? That's also like
Oh yeah,
Drew
that's
Barrymore
more of
plays
like
a woman who's like a zombie.
Yeah.
Right? So like that's kind of a
But she like eats
Yeah.
people, but is still in control
So
of
she's,
her
like, a
mind.
weird
Is that where we draw the
zombie.
line with zombies in world building? Because I feel like with zombies, part of it is that you lose
Ah.
yourself. Like you're not in control of
You're
your
not.
actions.
You're dead basically. You're
Yeah.
'cause zombie are undead, right?
I think if
Yeah.
you're undead and you feel a compulsion to eat human flesh, I could still see that as a zombie, even if you're still partially in control of your mind. I think I would still buy that as a zombie. Yeah, this is very interesting relating to our previous episode on Twilight. We were talking about, how much can you change of a creature before it stops being that creature?
I think you gotta eat brains if you're a
Yeah,
zombie.
it's gotta be
you gotta
brains.
eat brains. You
Yeah.
got
Gotta be
generally.
brains.
So this one's interesting. I usually think of zombies as slow, but then you have that one show where they were really fast.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
World
where
War
they're really
Z,
fast.
they're
like
really
28
fast.
days later, World
So
War
like
Z.
that trope's been kind of spun on its
Although
head.
but there's also usually like hordes of them too. Like, they come in big
Yep,
groups.
there's hordes. They're usually difficult to kill. They are usually superhumanly strong, which I think is funner when they're slow, because then it's like if they get their hands on you, then it's bad.
Usually they compensate for all these things by being in large groups. Like if they're not super
Yes.
strong, it's like there's a
There's a
million
lot
of
of them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're just gonna go down. Yeah. Zombies with superpowers is sometimes a trope.
Oh.
I've written this down, and I
Yeah.
don't know why I wrote this down, because I'm like, I don't
I think
remember
it's
this.
more popular in video games than anything else.
Oh yeah, that might have been
Yeah.
what I was thinking of, because I've played Left 4 Dead.
I was
where,
gonna
like,
say Left 4
various-
Dead, you have bloaters and like different
like various
types of
zombies do different types of things, and you have a little bit of that here in that the zombies behave differently in season 2 than they did in season 1.
Yeah,
Like,
they
Ellie's
encounter, like,
this
the
one was
stalker
aware.
one. Yeah.
They're smarter. They're
And
laying
it
traps
didn't
and
do what I
stuff.
expected it to, and she's really freaked out about it. So I thought they were gonna go even deeper with that in season 2. Maybe they will in season 3, but like
the
I'm like,
zombies are
ooh,
not
zombies
their
are getting
focus
like
anymore. Yeah.
super scary and different, and what does this mean?
But
they
even
kind of
in
just
season 1,
brushed over
you
it.
have the clickers specifically,
Mhm.
which are
Yep.
quick and
Different.
use echolocation and sound and
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
deeply
true.
horrifying.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, there are
Yeah.
different species of zombies in this too.
Then there's the trope where zombies aren't called zombies.
Right. Yes.
Mhm.
they're
It's common
walkers
for
or-
stories to put other names, which I find funny because it's not that way for a lot of other species. Like vampires are always just called vampires.
yeah, they're just vampires.
But for
yeah.
some reason, zombies are like, no, they're walkers. They're the Walking Dead.
the
They're
infected.
infected.
They're-
Yeah, something
yeah.
else, which I think is funny because
Yeah,
it's
that
always
is
just
funny.
zombies. Zombies are often caused by a virus. That's usually how things get started. Someone gets infected, and then, bites
Everybody's
someone else, and
infected.
then everyone gets it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and that was a different thing about season 2, though, is that it also is airborne, so you don't even have to be bitten. You can just breathe in the spores, which is a very interesting, like, again, like, superpower or subspecies of zombies is the, like, spore.
Yeah, I think because traditional zombies, it's like you're bitten by a zombie. It's so presumably saliva or bodily fluids. I know in like 28 days later or 28 weeks later, like someone gets one drop of blood in their eye and they become a zombie kind of thing. So
I was curious if they were going to make Ellie not be immune anymore, but then I was like, how would she learn that though? Beyond just dying.
Kind of ruin that. Yeah. Oh no, I'm dead.
Well, I guess I'm not immune. Yeah. The undead child zombie trope I find particularly creepy. Did they do that in this show? There haven't really been kids,
but we do.
Zombies.
Even like Game of Thrones with the like ice zombies, they have like the kid. Like there's a couple of kids, and it's always creepy when like the toddler looks at you.
Yes,
and
it's
like,
very disorienting.
I'm gonna totally. There's so many blank of the Dead movies. I think it's Dawn of the Dead, whichever one where they're in a mall. It's like a pregnant person gets infected and then there's baby zombie kind of thing.
Horrifying.
Yeah. So
creepy.
Oh, you could do a lot of horror with pregnant zombie and then baby like chews its way out or like gross.
I feel
horror story in 6 words. Baby chews its way out. 5 words. There we go. Knocked off a word.
That's the whole Alien franchise, basically.
There you go.
And then a common story trope is a character gets bitten and then they try to hide it because they don't want to turn into a zombie. And when you don't want to die, sometimes you throw logic out the window. And that one, it's totally understandable because you're like, you don't want to you don't want your friend to shoot you, so you're gonna, don't have exactly that in here, but there were some scenes where Ellie's trying to convince Joel to let this guy see his wife again.
Yeah, he gets bitten and he wants to say goodbye. Yeah. And then Joel is like, yes, I'll let you. And then he shoots him anyway because he thinks it's too dangerous. And that's one of the reasons that he and Ellie are on
Ellie's mad at him.
Yeah. Because that was a pretty horrible thing to do.
I mean, I understand why Joel does that. Yeah. I don't think he should have lied to Ellie. I think he should have been like, no, listen, to shoot her. I'm sorry. Or shoot him.
Yeah. I mean, I also think he probably could have said goodbye to his wife and it would have been okay.
But
it's dangerous.
That's one thing I do really like about the zombie trope is like it's so infectious and it's so dangerous that like you
have no
are
idea
going
when
to
it's
have
gonna
to
take
live
hold.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
you're
I mean,
going to have to make hard
to
decisions. Wrong decisions.
He could be hugging her and turn, and then he would be crushing her. Like,
True, but like if she's willing to risk that or whatever, then like, or even if you like hold her back so they can't touch, and then if he approaches her, then you shoot him. Like if you're already prepared to shoot him,
but then you have to get extra people to come in and hold her back. And what if he breaks free and he bites?
Yeah, and then if you make this exception for this person, you have to like keep making exceptions and like keep. I don't know. I understand why he does it. Yeah, but
I also understand. I just think it was the wrong decision.
I see.
But that's what I'm saying.
Which is fair.
I like that about the zombie trope, though. Is like you will often have to make the wrong decision. That is also always the correct decision.
Yes.
Like
there's always
morally it's wrong. Logistically, it's correct. Like
yes, yeah.
And this actually brings us into post-apocalyptic tropes in general. Is that moral dilemmas is a big thing. Like, once you have no government, no laws, a lot of your decisions come down to, well, what is the morally correct thing to do? Or, like, what's the smart thing to do? Or and sometimes those aren't the same thing. And that's what I really love about post-apocalyptic. Is that you have these really awful decisions and there's no right answer.
And they often, come down to the individual or like a small group like we see in the town, them making decisions together because they're having like a new society, but it's like a very fledgling society and it's not like you don't have a government in the same way. And it's very interesting to look at.
And it's not even like a one-time decision. It's like every single day you have to make decisions like that. Like the fatigue that I feel like would plague people where it's like, you're not just doing this once. It's not like, you're not like Batman deciding, do I kill the Joker to free Gotham of this one criminal? It's like making that decision multiple times a week for the rest of your life. Like that's hard.
Yeah. In post-apocalyptic fiction, you often have factions because your society has sort of disintegrated. So people group off and come up with their own laws, and then those factions often clash with each other, which you have here, and I actually did not like it in season 2 because we suddenly had this new faction that I was like, who is this and why do I care about them?
Yeah.
Which one, the Seraphites or the wolves?
Both of them. Like,
yeah,
it seemed like we were supposed to care about them fighting against each other, and there was like this big storm coming and something was happening, and I'm like, I just don't care about this. Like, why am I supposed to care about this? I care about Ellie and what she's trying to do.
Yeah, we had no reason to care about either of them because our main protagonists are not connected to either fact. I mean, I guess Abby and her friends were kind of part of the wolves.
I think maybe it's trying to set up Abby's story, but I just didn't really get that that's what the show was doing.
I feel like maybe that's the issue with season 2 is it felt like set up for season 3. Like season 1 was a story. Season 2 is like, here we're setting it up for the next story, but it like wasn't
I'd rather
story in and of itself.
It be a longer season because it was only 7 episodes. I'd rather it be 10 and they cut back and forth between Ellie and Abby.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So you're getting it all at the same time. Because the idea of like, oh, here's Ellie's side.
A little bit.
And then 2 years later, here's Abby's.
I think the video game, which probably does this a lot better, is trying to do something quite subtle in showing how revenge can be a circle and just keep going and keep going. And so it's trying to show you, okay, here's what happens to Ellie, and now we're gonna be in the shoes of Joel's murderer. Now you have to play as her, and that's like very disorienting, but it's not working the same way in the show.
I think it's an issue of format and medium because it's so much inherently easier to literally put yourself in the shoes of a character when you are playing that character. You're physically moving through a space as that character. It's a lot easier to get Abby's side of the story because you're literally Abby for a while kind of thing, right? You're moving her, you're controlling her actions.
I think they could have made this work if they had gotten us into Abby's head in season 1. Because we don't really, like, we are pretty much introduced to her as an antagonist. Like, when we see her first in, like, season 2, she's already, like, hunting them, and we know that she's trying to kill our protagonist. So at that point, it's a lot harder to be sympathetic. Yeah, like, you understand. It's like, it's horrible to have your caregiver, like, your father murdered. That's awful. But, like, we haven't been following her journey. She's the villain to our protagonist.
Yeah, like, we love Joel, and she kills Joel. So we're like, well, no, you're not a good person.
It's a lot harder to be sympathetic. So, like, if we had seen her cutting back and forth in season 1, maybe then it would be more of a, oh my goodness, now we are like empathizing with both of them, and isn't this horrible? And
I think it works in the video game because, okay, I'm being forced to play as Abby now.
Yes,
and
I have
with
to get
her.
in her
like,
head. Yeah.
Whereas this is just like, I don't see it. I'm not seeing it. I'm not feeling it. Yeah.
Yeah, and like also the I feel like you postulated maybe in the video game it's more subtle, because in this it also just felt so heavy-handed of the message of like revenge is a cycle and it's bad, and I'm like, I get it, like more zombies. I don't care about this
bring
revenge
on
story.
the zombies. Next trope is just survival or scrounging for resources that are now scarce. Whenever I think of post-apocalyptic, I'm like, what would I do without electricity or like fresh water
bath?
to have a shower?
I would simply die. I have no desire to live in a zombie apocalypse. I'm like, day one, just kill me. I don't want
I'm just
to live.
walking out into the ocean and not coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
You mean I can't have a hot bath when I feel like it? I'm not built for that. Yeah.
At this point in The Last of Us, they do seem to have some things in place in their community. So but even things like medicine or like surgeries, like everything's out the window.
Yeah.
And then you have, we already touched on this briefly, people making their own rules and becoming vicious, and there's often themes of like selfishness and what people do when there's no one governing them, like no government stopping them.
In
no
season
laws.
1, it's even better with the cannibal colony. I
forgot about that.
Yeah.
I also forgot about the cannibal colony until just now. Yeah.
So the horror is often actually less about the monsters or what caused the apocalypse and more about what people will do to each other.
Mm-hmm.
I actually kind of prefer the monster feature. I just like monsters, and I don't like seeing what people will do to each other.
Yeah, because
I feel like it has to have both. Like, I don't mind the psychological, like, what, but, like, I also want there to be monsters. Otherwise, I'm just like, well...
Yeah, and there weren't enough monsters in season 2.
Yeah.
This is the problem.
Otherwise, it quickly turns into, like, The Road by Cormac McCarthy, which is a phenomenal novel that I suggest everyone read.
But it's very different.
So depressing. So deeply depressing and bleak. I think when you introduce zombies, it's like you're expecting, like, it's going to be bleak, but, like, you want a little bit of, like, I don't want to say fun, but, like, at least, like, a cool aspect of, like,
yeah. It also kind of, it gives you reasons as to why people are making these choices, right? Because the whole reason is because there's these monsters and it's disintegrated and, like, you are facing all of these threats, and so you make these impossible decisions. And it's like, if you take away those outside threats, it's like, well, why are you making these impossible decisions?
Why aren't you just working together?
Forced you into this. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then sometimes, this is more of a fantasy trope, but sometimes we see this in Post-Apocalyptic is the chosen one, where someone with a unique skill or ability makes them crucial for the world's survival. And in this case, we have Ellie, who is unique in that she is...
immune.
Resistant.
Yeah.
Yes, and potentially they think they could get a cure for everybody from her.
And actually, so my mind is also going to iZombie, and maybe this is more of a superpower, but the main character in iZombie, when she eats people's brains, she, like, gets their personality characteristics and some of their memories, and she uses it to, like, help a detective solve crimes, which I think is so fun.
It's like, there's a character on Heroes who does that. He can eat people's brains and get their superpowers.
So that's more of, like, we mentioned briefly superhuman powers or, like, superpowers in the zombie tropes, and that also may have been where my mind was when I said that. So that's and also a fun one, just a fun twist. That, what does eating brains do? Maybe it does something kind of magical. Yeah. I think that's a really fun one.
The common chosen one trope in zombie stories, though, is someone who's immune.
The immune person. Yeah.
I just love the ending of season 1. I love that Joel was like, no, not the world. This one girl gets to live because I love her.
He is saving the world. He's saving his world. You know what I mean? Like that, gives me the warm and fuzzies.
And the fact that Joel's daughter died at the beginning of season 1 made this choice so much more gut-wrenching because he's like, not again. I can't let this happen again. She's my world now. Fuck everyone else. You know?
Objectively the wrong decision, but
so
you
relatable.
Understand why he's doing it. Yeah.
Oh,
and it's
my goodness.
Gut-wrenching.
And so many apocalyptic stories would have him making the right choice.
Really? I feel like most of them would have it go the same way.
I think a lot of stories would be like, no, he saves the world. That's the end of the series. The world is saved, but it cost this humanity, you know?
Maybe. I'm trying to think of one. I can't think of...
A lot of zombie apocalypse stories, don't they end with, like, a cure? Like, on a hopeful...
Yeah, I mean, I Am Legend ends with a cure. They just isolate one. Like, usually there's a cure, but I don't think it's usually because somebody had to die for it.
No,
like,
maybe not that specific.
Cure, right? Yeah. I think usually if there is, like, a cure storyline that would end in that way, it's like the person chooses to sacrifice themselves.
Yeah.
And it's less about somebody else, you know? Like, the Joel stepping in to stop her, I think, is a little bit more unique to this story. And it's kind of awful that he does that, because, like, she wanted to, and then he lies to her.
Yeah, she didn't really know what they were going to do, though.
Right. She didn't know necessarily that she was going to die, but she did want to, like... I think she made it clear that she was willing to, like, give up her life. And then later she's really mad about it.
If they had given her the choice, I think she would have chosen, but I'm annoyed that they, like, didn't. I understand why they don't, because they're like, well, it doesn't matter what she wants. Right. We have to have to do it
anyway. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, both sides did the objectively wrong thing for, like, different reasons.
And then, of course, you have found family, very common in post-apocalyptic, because lots of times
has been killed.
Yeah, lots of times your family's dead or zombies, you know.
Yep.
And that's, of course, what I love most about season 1 is Joel and Ellie's relationship and the father. I just love a father-daughter. I also love, like, in The Witcher, like, Geralt and Ciri.
It's that kind of, like, grumpy versus sunshine trope.
Yeah. I don't know. I love it so much.
I liked and hated in the second season that they were at odds. Because, like, in one way it did feel realistic, even just for the fact that now she's, like, a teenager and, like...
Oh, yeah, I didn't mind that they were at odds at all. I also
hated it, though, because I also wanted to see them, like, getting along and having more cute moments, but it's like I loved and hated it.
No, I just meant their dynamics in general is what I love about the show. Like, the relationship between them, whatever it's doing in that moment. Yeah. And so, with one of them dead, you just can't have that anymore. Yeah,
although it was kind of gut-wrenching that even after he died, you continued to have flashbacks of them together, which was super heart-wrenching, which I am glad that they did, because that did put more of that relationship into the season, which is also my favorite part. But it was also, like, gut-wrenching of, like, oh my goodness, we don't get to see this live anymore because he's dead. Yeah. And I thought that was a really, actually, one thing the season did well was that, because it also brought you, the viewer, the same kind of grief, because, like, that's what you do when you lose somebody, right? So you think about all the times you had together. So the show was literally doing that for us.
I mean, you definitely feel Ellie's grief, because you're like, I loved Joel too. He was, like, my favorite thing about the show, and now he's gone.
Impeccable casting all around, I think.
Really good casting.
Yeah. I did not know he was going to die. I was, like, so shocked when
I played the game, so I shouldn't say I played. I've watched people play the games. I'm too scared of fungus to actually play it, but I made friends sit and play it for me so I could sit and watch many, many moons ago. But yeah.
I tried to play it, and the thing I liked about it was the story, and I found the gameplay and combat, I did not like it. So I was like, well, I could just watch the show for the story. So... So then another post-apocalyptic trope is nature taking over, especially urban settings. So you get these very cool scenes of, like, trees and growths and animals in cities. The giraffe, I love the giraffe imagery.
Yeah, it was great.
When they first get to Seattle, in air quotes, that was filmed in Nanaimo, where I have to go, like, at least...
Filmed, so much stuff in BC.
I have to go, like, once a month for work. And actually, one time I was late for a meeting because they closed down a bunch of streets because they were filming it. But in the show, it was fun watching it. I think it was episode 3. And I was like, oh, I know that shop. Kind of thing. But when they go past the building with the pride flags on it, and then they see the mural with the rainbow heart that says pride, and they're like, oh, I guess they were just, like, really optimistic people or whatever. Oh, yeah. And they make a silly little joke. The people for the show painted that on the side of a building, and the city of Nanaimo decided to keep it and touch it up and keep it as part of a mural in the city. So whenever I'm in Nanaimo for work, I'd get to drive past that little pride mural as it was in the show. It's very cool.
I love that. Anyways, that's great.
Yeah, very cute. But it was fun watching that, like, with the stuff taking over. And it was a tiny bit of a rough end of Nanaimo. And I was like, I bet they didn't have to do much.
And with that, we're going to head on over to Proprietor's Pick. Allison, what zombie book do you have for us? Or is it just a post-apocalyptic?
I don't remember what I picked, so I'm just going to start reading it and see.
So this is a surprise for Allison as well.
No, it is zombies. Okay. It's called The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey. Here's what it's about. Melanie is a very special girl. Dr. Caldwell calls her our little genius. Every morning, Melanie waits in her cell to be collected for class. When they come for her, Sergeant Parks keeps his gun pointing at her, while 2 of his people strap her into the wheelchair. She thinks they don't like her. She jokes that she won't bite, but they don't laugh. Ooh. Melanie loves school. She loves learning about spelling and sums and the world outside the classroom and the children's cells. She tells her favorite teacher all the things she'll do when she grows up. Melanie doesn't know why this makes Miss Justino look sad. So that's the description, and this book is about a girl who's a zombie being studied by soldiers and doctors, and she and a group have to go on a journey together to try to save the world. So I saw a review that said, if the main thing you like about The Last of Us is the bond between Joel and Ellie, this book is for you, and I'm like, that's what I like about The Last of Us.
Oh my goodness. What age is it for? Do you know? Is it a YA?
I believe it's adults. Let me just double check.
It's an interesting premise. I've never seen
It was also
a zombie...
turned into a film.
Was it?
Yes, from 2016. I've seen the film. As soon as you were reading that, I was like, I know this. Yeah.
I've never seen a piece of zombie literature from the POV of the zombie, so that's
fun,
cool.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's adult. It's adult horror.
Okay. Neat.
From 2014, so
I definitely want to
little
read that.
older,
That sounds really
but
good. Cool.
I thought it was very fitting. So if you like The Last of Us,
yeah, especially if you like season 1, like us, you may like this book. That's cool.
yeah.
Time for last call. Here are our concluding thoughts and questions about the world building of The Last of Us and how you can apply that to your own worlds. Christiana, what have you learned from the world building of The Last of Us?
It's kind of a twofer. So, what are the moral implications of the world, which kind of ties into exactly how hard every single decision and thing would be. So, a random example is someone named Thomas Thwaites did what he called the Toaster Project, where he tried to build a toaster from scratch, like literally went to mines to mine copper, and then went to an iron thing and did this, and then tried to find plastic to build plastic, and like build all these electronic components. He bought the cheapest toaster he could, tore it apart, found there was like, 300 pieces to it, and tried to find a locally sourced thing to make a toaster.
Wow.
It looks melted and horrible, and it exploded after half toasting one piece of toast. But I think it's a really good example of reading something like that and then understanding just how incredibly difficult anything in the post-apocalyptic world would be. Like, it's not just, oh, well, we have electricity now, so I'm going to plug in a toaster. Does the toaster work? If the toaster breaks, can you fix the toaster? Yeah. Right? So all those kind of things. I think this actually does a pretty good job of showing just how. Although, yes, eventually they get lights and things like that. There's still a lot in this world that shows, like, every little decision is either a moral hurdle or, like, a logistical hurdle kind of thing, right? Like, everything is hard. And I think that's, they do a really good job with that. So take that into your post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah, I like the distillation of it to, like, moral problems and logistical problems. Yeah. It really does define, true, or both.
There's
sometimes
no easy decisions in the zombie apocalypse. Yeah.
Except to hide your bite when you get bitten.
Yeah, obviously that's a no-brainer.
Obviously, you do that, Allison, what about you? What have you taken away from The Last of Us to apply to world building?
So this is an example of quite small-scale world building. We don't know anything about other countries or like what's going on globally. All we know is what's around Ellie and Joel, what they're trying to do. We know a few factions, a few characters, and you can take inspiration from that because you don't necessarily need a big world. I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably really love world building, and you don't have to go big with it. You can, if you're telling a small story, you can also keep your world building limited and more focused. You don't need to impart information about the world that the main characters, or in the case of a novel, the narrator wouldn't know or wouldn't be thinking about. If Ellie's like riding off to kill a zombie, she's not going to be thinking about, oh, there are no toasters available for me to make my toast with tomorrow morning. Like, what is she going to be thinking about in that moment? And then divulge that world. Like, she might be thinking about, oh, I wish my saddle hadn't broken yesterday because there are no new ones and I have to ride bareback. That would be a sensible piece of information about the world to give at that moment.
Yeah, and also in a post-apocalyptic, I think it's almost small is almost always like kind of necessary because your world gets a lot smaller in those circumstances, right? Like, first of all, the technology is no longer there for our global stuff, and then also you don't care anymore. It's like, if I'm caring about my survival, I don't care about the politics of, Iceland. And also, every apocalypse only takes place in the United States, so that makes it real easy because the rest of the world just doesn't exist. So
fair.
Canada, never heard of it. It's gone.
We're actually quite safe up here. It ends at the 49th parallel.
The zombies are dying. Yeah, it's too cold for the zombies to get up here. So, post-apocalyptic set in Canada is just Winnipeg in winter. So,
we've all lived it for half a year for our whole lives.
My world building advice based on the last list is very simple, and it's just more mushrooms.
Yes.
I have been reading. I've read quite a few horrors, or like seen horrors based on mushrooms. Like this one, I just read Mexican Gothic, which is also like a mushroom based horror. What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher is another mushroom based horror, and just every time I'm a sucker for mushrooms. Are so like creepy and alien.
We don't understand
just like
them
in the real world. There's so much,
and they can grow everywhere in like. Different environments.
Yeah.
The colony underneath the ground talks to each other. Like the micro
they can be poisonous. They can
be
be hallucinogenics. They already influence your brain.
Yeah.
Like, this is just a trope that I am not sick of yet, and I want more of it. So if you are writing something, make it mushroom based, and then send it directly to me.
We need a mushroom paranormal romance.
I was literally just going to say that. Yes, girl,
mushroom man.
Like what's that? What's Splice? The like alien horror, but like with a mushroom man.
Yeah.
But with mushrooms.
Big beefy
from
mushroom
Twilight,
man.
But a mushroom comes
Let me be romanced by a fly Amenadia. Yeah.
The delicious portobello walks in and sweeps.
Give me a big beefy portobello.
Yeah, actually, there you go. Also, incorporate mushrooms into genres other than horror. Like, there's not enough.
I want to kiss a mushroom. Let me. Put myself in someone else's shoes for once.
Hey, Baldur's Gate 3 did a really beautiful, cool mushroom.
Yes, the Myconid colony was very cool.
Yeah. So, hey, it can be done. There you go. With that, we are at closing time for the very last time this season. Especially today, we would love to stay longer, but, you know, these barricades are not going to strengthen themselves against the hordes of zombies that are trying to get into the tavern. So, we wanted to give you a sneak peek into what's coming next at the tavern. We are doing some renovations and making a few changes that we're excited about. Most of what we're doing is staying the same, but there are some tweaks. So, one thing is, since we are largely focused on writing and we all love to read, we are going to be discussing books only next season and presumably for our ongoing seasons. We will be doing one book episode per month, and we'll be letting you know in advance what books we will be discussing so that you can also read them ahead of time. So it'll be kind of like a little book club.
Yay! And I'm excited.
Yes, I think that will be very helpful to help people get more out of the episodes, because it's always nice when you are familiar with the subject.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. And I mentioned we will be doing one of those episodes a month. So what will our second episode of the month be? Well, we love our Patreon exclusive world building workshops so much that we have decided to bring them into the main feed for regular listeners. So everybody will get them. This is super exciting. We are going to be making some changes to our Patreon, which if you're a patron, you can check that out. But you will no longer have to pay to get our cool premium world building workshop.
And we're going to try and tie them in a little bit into the book that we discussed the week before, the 2 weeks before. Yeah. So you can get much more out of both episodes. Then.
Yeah, it'll kind of be like, you know, like our kind of taking our closing time thoughts, but then actually like going from there and being like, okay, let's actually apply this to world building.
Yeah.
So like, for example, if we did one based on this, it would be like, oh, let's build something with mushrooms or
build
whatever,
a mushroom monster.
So,
Ooh,
which I think will be really fun, because that's kind of what we do as authors anyway, is like take in all of this stuff and then twist it around into something unique and make it your own. So you get to see that in real time. So we're super excited about that. So yes, you'll still be getting your 2 episodes a month. We just will no longer have a special Patreon only episode. All of our content will be available without a paywall. So we're very excited about that. Season 4 will be starting in January. So we're going to be January to December for season 4, and then January to December for season 5. So more content, but we'll have to wait a little bit longer just for the next season to start up. We will be on a little bit of a hiatus now, and then posting our first episode in January with a little sneak peek of the books that we'll be doing in December, so you can start reading them ahead of time.
Yeah, and you better read them. That's a threat.
We put thought into the books we pick, people.
The episodes are all free, but if you subscribe to the podcast, we will mail you threatening letters asking you about whether or not you've read the books.
We'll bang down your door. Be like, have you read it yet?
That is the trade-off.
I'm on chapter 10. What about you?
On that note, join our Discord so we can tell you what books we're going to talk about and discuss them with you on the Discord.
Yeah, we may do some like read-alongs. Most of them will kind of just be chatting on the podcast, but we may do some where we chat about them as we're reading them, so that could be kind of fun. Yeah, so we're just very excited to have a little bit more back and forth interaction with our audience. We think will be great because we love you guys, and thank you so much for listening to us this season. Mm-hmm. It's really so great every time we hear somebody like say that they've listened to us or they like the podcast or our content. It means the world to us.
Yeah,
and we have so much fun making this and getting to like nerd out about stuff. And do world building. So thank you for supporting us. We are super looking forward to seeing you next season. Thank you again for joining us today. If you do want to join our Patreon just to help us keep doing what we're doing, feel free to check out patreon.com/worldbuilderstavern. Check out our description to help a Palestinian family escape Gaza. We can also be found at our website, www.worldbuilderstavern.com, and on our Discord, where we are the World Builders Tavern. We hope to serve you here again soon, but until January, scram!
Bye!
Get out of here! But do come back.